My name is Adam Leshem. I'm the founder of Lesro Industries. We were actually in the drafting table industry, manufacturing, and at some point we realized that we have to take a turn and go into a totally different avenue. Make office furniture. Drafting tables are done. And we started in 1986 making our office furniture.
I'm Jerry Leshem, and I'm one of the owners of Lesro.
I'm Ed Leshem. I'm also one of the owners of Lesro.
We always wanted to be a green company, and we started by getting water-based glues and soy-based foam, but then we realized we could go much further than that, and there was great economics to going green. You can be sustainable and you can save a bunch of money at the same time. One of the first projects when we moved in was we put 3,000 solar panels on the roof. Almost our entire power needs are supplied by these panels, and it proved to be a lot more economical than buying power off the grid. We also fixed up our lighting, and we're using much more efficient lighting that's drawing less power. We recently bought an electrostatic machine for our lacquer, which allows the transfer rate to increase. So we're using less lacquer, but getting more lacquer on the product, which means less is going up the chute and into the environment. We're also not just putting our wood in landfills. We're filling up trailers with it, and it's being used to make pellets for home furnaces, and it's also being used for horse bedding at farms. One of our big future projects now is going to be converting all our stains and lacquers to water-based, much more environmentally friendly, and we hope to accomplish this in the next year or two.
My name is Dan O'Malley. I'm sales manager here at Lesro, and I'm in my 29th year. In one word, it's flexibility. We have hundreds of fabrics and hundreds of vinyls and many different wood finishes and steel finishes on our products. We have a very flexible manufacturing process, which allows us to put out critical orders very quickly. So really we believe in three things: any fabric, any finish, any time. If you need something quickly, you can count on us. Greg and Ryan and BTOD have been great longtime supporters of Lesro.
All right, so this is the beginning of the line. He's now grabbing oak from like Appalachian red oak. We have 3 different types of species here. This is one step away from the forest. They cut down the trees, they cut it into boards, they put it in dry kilns, and I get it. The steps are real simple. From the time you take in rough lumber, he's gonna rip it through the optimized rip saw. Things like this defect, he's basically going to cut out on the chop saws. Once we start cutting it to length, he's going to take it right out. The CNC is a great equalizer as far as overseas importing. We're able to really speed up manufacturing without throwing a lot of labor at it. The machine's doing everything. It's going to change tools like you see it doing right now. All automated. I draw it up on my computer, I email it to the machine. All these machines is where we're able to gain manufacturing over overseas stuff. The way we glue up our frames, typically with mortise and tenon. This is actually the same piece of wood, it's not a dowel. There's all sorts of different ways to do it. This one here is going to have a solid dowel pin put in it, and that's it. You can see how perfect the fit is. The better that you get the fit, the easier it is going to be to sand that down. It's really about how much glue surface you can get. So you can see how labor intensive this step is, but really, this is a really important step. Because you put so much glue in, you're going to see a lot get squeezed out, and there's a whole cleanup process to it. Brooklyns are made out of solid maple. We probably cut this on the rip saw maybe 2 or 3 days ago. Okay. And it probably came here maybe a week or 2 ago. Here we're doing like a ton of sanding on the right side. And the idea is to get it up to grit before you do any finishing. So that's really rough. The smoother it is, the better the finish will come out. So this is the last phase before it goes into finishing. He's doing a final inspection. He's also breaking any sharp corners. Product is sorted by color. Lighter frames go to lighter colors, darker frames go to the darker colors. So what you're going to see is electrostatic spraying. There's no people doing it. It's all automatic. This is just another place where we're able to automate. This is also has a much higher transfer rate on the sprays. There's like a ton less waste. We're probably transferring 3 times more than a human can with a gun because of the electrostatic, because of the attraction. It's tough to see, but if you look closely, you can see the lacquer wrap around the frame. Real fast and real accurate. Just like powder coating, it's attracted to the wood. Powder coating is attracted to metal. This is attracted to the moisture content in the wood itself. Do 150 frames, both sides, in like 30 minutes. And a heavy coat too. Usually when you go this heavy by hand, you get runs. This thing is just dialed in. After you seal wood, sealer, the idea is that it raises the grain. He's got to knock all the grain down without taking the color off. And then we're going to hit it again with lacquers. You got to have a good touch to do this so you don't take any color off. What we're doing here is basically repairing. We have the capability to make any product. We're offering bronze and white and all these things, and customers are taking us up on it, and we're able to change or fix anything. And it's pretty easy. That's electrostatic powder coating. We're going to bake it in the oven for 400 degrees and it's going to come out hard as nails. You can see it stick to the metal. Pretty easy to do. That's what we call an environmental control booth. We have them all over the shop. They're designed to collect any leftover dust or anything like that, and we are able to remove it or properly discard of it. I've got them in the wood shop too. The fixturing we designed here ourselves for welding. Again, it allows us to make anything, anytime. We cut all the steel, angled it, and then the fixtures we've been making here since day one. The nice thing about these welding fixtures is when you hit one side, you'll see that he can hit the other side. This is the material we buy from Leggett & Platt. We call it MATREX. I think that's what they're calling it, but it's got 100% memory to it, so every time you sit on the chair and get up, it's going to bounce back to the same feel and comfort that it has on day one. We stretch it to a certain tension, so we put this on, and then we put a lot of foam over it. Most people are doing plywood decks with foam on it. Coils end up breaking or making noise after a while. This stuff will hold up kind of forever and is great. This is an area where, because we've gotten like more sustainable and environmentally friendly product, it's actually helped with production. The glue is a water-based glue. The guys prefer using it. It's got real strong strength and holding characteristics. You can see it's able to take the turns. Not a lot of glues do that. The foam we're using, we switched over to a soy-based foam that's also a lot greener than your traditional foams. Paying a little bit more money for it, but the customers are marketing it.
When did you guys start this product, and where is this at in production? How soon will it ship?
This is shipping today. Pretty old school. You lay them all out, you trace the pattern out by hand, but they come out perfect. sometimes we get a bigger order. This is for what? 89 Mystic chairs, all the same fabric. Tough position to fill. This is a really hard thing to do. Most people think they know how to sew, like they sew at home. That's not what's happening here. These are like high-end industrial machines that are very hard to use. Super fast. Everything you're seeing here is shipping today. It was cut yesterday, it was sewn yesterday, and we're gonna ship it out today. We really don't work on anything beyond today or tomorrow. The distance between the wedges is critical, and what you're seeing here is fixtures that allow us to put them in just the right place. I showed you how we cut the groove. I showed you how the backs are exactly the right distance. It has to happen just for this step now. What we're looking to do is make sure that when that's installed, it matches this just right. And you can see that it does. And that's the only way to have it assembled perfectly. Another wedge fixture that we made that allows the wedges to go on frames, and then the screw beater just knocks in the screws real quick. That's it. He's looking to make sure he gets the right side, make sure it's all good. Perfect. Same exact wedge orientation works for Lennox. Every frame we make fits that orientation. It's going to be the same for the gangs.